Welcome to a 2v2 on Einhoven Country. This game is Wreathlit, Noel, and Gvardia versus this clan, Knockout, I guess, PotatoMan, and Fiskebalsam. Mixed Axis in the south, double tier 1 Soviets in the north. Already have a shock rifle selection from Fisk, but we've also got advanced warfare, shock rifle, and shock motor available to PotatoMan. Wreathlit, Noel, and Gvardia have close air support, Bestrung armor, spearhead, Luftwaffe, fortifications, and spec ops. We're going to see a double penal battalion opening from Fisk. That's rather bold. In fact, from both of them going with a double penal battalion opening, which is going to leave them with very little capping power here in the early game. As you can see, the Axis are spreading out very rapidly and taking territory with this double PIO opening, Volksgrenadier opening. By comparison, penals are only just now making their way onto the battlefield. So, hi Obersoldat. So kind of a slow start there for the Soviets, but they should hopefully be able to win some of their early engagements, since penal battalions have no problem against Volksgrenadiers or PIOs. Doing some weird dancing around this cover initially, but they will take this engagement. Volksgrenadiers retreated a little late. They could have gotten away with no model losses right there, but he doesn't have tier 2 yet anyway, so. At least the models he reinforces will be at full health for the next engagement. Sort of a late retreat from that penal battalion squad as well. It looks like this engagement should go to the Soviets as long as they keep moving up into cover. These two here in the back are not engaging very effectively because they're not in cover and they're just standing in the open. Not really doing any damage to these grenadiers yet. PIOs, however, definitely have to get out of there. That was kind of a late retreat on those PIOs. They get wiped. MG42 moving to set up from the southeast flank. And because they don't have cover, they get suppressed pretty quickly. This squad's trying to execute some sort of flank, but they've fallen a little too low. Building will fall into Oster control as well as Grenadiers jump inside. They've only taken one model loss. He's going to destroy the building with a satchel, and an M3 is simultaneously moving on the flank right there of that MG42. Building goes down. Grenadiers make it out with one model remaining just barely in time. And it seems we're going to see one sniper from Fisk, and the other PotatoMan is, of course, on M3. So they both went to penals, and then their builds diverged. Over here on the left side, combat engineers got chased away, and stern piles are going to take control of the fuel. And it looks like control of the center will be maintained for now. With this building destroyed and the M3 available to chase away MGs. Pretty okay opening engagement for the Soviets, but again, their capping power is suffering. They kind of brute forced their way straight down the middle, which will get them control of this fuel point, but they've lost control of this fuel point, so they need to split up now and try and get the flanks of the map back under control. Mortar has been fielded. That should help flush these penals out of cover, should they actually choose to ever take cover. Snipers here. Starts doing his job. The fuel point is temporarily disconnected here in the south while these PIOs move around to harass the munitions point. Not to mention this got temporarily taken. So the Soviets are having some trouble connecting their resources. Noel has teched tier 2 and 4 Volksgrenadier opening to keep the manpower float down here at the 5-minute mark. Placement of that tier 2 structure means we're probably not going to see a forward retreat point. Penal Battalion in the M3 is forcing some retreats. Won't be able to get any wipes though. This is too close to the Axis base, I think. Looks like the Axis got unlucky with their base defenses and are not really protected from the M3. The mortar does get wiped. Stern piles moving up with Panzerschreck support to try and push that thing away or destroy it. Looks like it's going to go down. does get out just in time.
The sector has been cut off.
There go those Sturms, and there's some shock troops from PotatoMan. They're both shock. Oh no, one of them shock motor, the other shock rifle. So they both have access to shock troops. It's actually 2 squads of shock troops fielded. It's a lot of manpower on shock troops at the 6-minute mark. He's been floating pretty much this whole time, I guess, ever since he purchased his M3. Hasn't made a single thing. Grenades tossed onto those Spokes Grenadiers right in the retreat path. That's one wipe. And he could probably steal that mortar if he wanted, but it will force him to retreat. Looks like he doesn't want to do it. He's just circling around towards the cutoff for now. Is he stuck on a crawler? It looks like he just got stuck on a crawler right there, so that apparently still happens. Not as easily. I haven't seen that happening on retreat at all, but apparently it still can happen a little bit. Interesting. Smoke grenade? No, frag grenade on the green cover. They should be fine. He needs to use smoke too. Rifle grenade to further damage that squad, and it will retreat. Sturm Pyos firing on combat engineers, and they will be forced to die. Did not retreat in time. There's a minesweeper upgrade as well. Always a good policy to throw a minesweeper squad on harassment, since if the flank has been being backcapped by combat engineers, you don't know how many demo charges there might be over there. MG42 does get cleared in its attempt to retreat by the advancing Soviet horde. All the penals have been reinforced and are making their way back towards the right side and will be able to take this fuel point, but the left is currently completely undefended. Not even by demo charge, I don't think. Or mines or anything, so that's going to fall into Wreathlit Noel's control. He's also recruited the mortar right here. Somebody should, well, he should definitely salvage this M3. Hi, frag. Good morning. Grenade toss at the mortar may wipe it. Yep, there it goes. Was not in green cover for that grenade. Tier 4 structure has been built here to protect against these pushes, and it forces a full retreat from those 2 squads. Nice dodge. Loses 1 model right there, but he still has a full health shock troop squad in his retreat path, so to get out of there. A grenadier and flamethrower blob is making its way forward to try and push away these Soviet forces. Ooh, and he got a little too close to the tier 4 structure again. Grenades is slightly off target, doesn't do too much. And oversoldaten are in production. And close air support and spec ops have been chosen by both of these players, so all 4 doctrine selections have been made, but shock troops being on the field is the only real doctrinal feature I see utilized so far. I'm not sure if he's even used redistribute resources yet. Maybe, he's only gone tier 2. Kinda hard to tell. Fuel control hasn't been that great. There's spec ops throwing infiltration grenades. Gets a couple shock troops with that. Has to retreat away from a late reaction to that shock troop grenade. Ooh. PotatoMan wasn't paying attention to that penal battalion, and down they go. Sniper and shock troops also have to retreat, and there's 2 penal battalions left on the front lines. Try and hold the center VP for a little while. First squad of shocks just got fielded as well. A lot of shock troops being fielded on this map, which doesn't really feel like a shock troop map to me, by the way. There's a lot of long-range engagements and a lot of red cover. I'm not sure what I think about that. Desperation. Oh no! Oh, that was close. He dodged it with his Sturms, but he walked right into it with his overs.
Half-track is in action.
Kind of a clumsy
Standing by
move
for
right
setting
there.
of
Half track on the
commandos.
field from Gvardia try to keep a more aggressive position here in the front lines. Mortar's going to reinforce here in the back. And he's floating manpower like crazy, so this will probably help get his manpower float down. Aggressive reinforce point. Taking control of the munitions and fuel back on both flanks with minesweepers. Good use of minesweepers to harass the flanks. Somebody should definitely recover that machine gun, by the way. It's just sitting there.
Our industry grows to support us.
Wreathlit will dodge that grenade again with those storms, but they're falling so quick. That was a late retreat. He should have known that that wasn't an engagement he could win. There's another grenade toss. We'll retreat from that one. Being forced to retreat with both of those squads with a half track right here is kind of leaving his teammate high and dry for this engagement. He cannot beat 4 shock troop squads by himself without any suppression. Finally, some overs arrive to support. They're going to go down so quick.
Enemy is taking
Infiltration grenades. Counter grenade wipes the squad. My god, this blob of shock troops. They have no counter to this other than infiltration grenades. They need suppression. At least they have the tier 4 structure to slow it down. Smoke grenade tossed right there. So much firepower just being brute forced straight down the middle of the map, and it's totally working. Wiped those overs. Not sure if it wiped any of the Oster stuff. I guess not. But it pushed them completely off the map. That shock troop squad gets focus fired down and will retreat. Sniper is working on the oversold on, and they also have to retreat. Pyo's gonna grab the victory point there on the right side.
The peg gun is ready for orders.
Combat engineers moving to retake the left.
We are ready for action.
Teller mine going down. Axis have a little bit of room to breathe right now while the allies recollect themselves. Tier 4 from one of the players. I guess he's going to go Katyusha before he transitions to his ISU 152, which certainly makes sense against some defenses like this. Bunker going up. Probably a medic bunker to go with the reinforce of the half track, but I think... Nope, machine gun bunker. Okay. Machine gun bunker is pretty good against shock troop spam because it's basically immune to shock troops. They can smoke it, but they can't really destroy it. Focus Grenadiers win that easily enough. Here comes the next Soviet assault. Bunker's about to complete though. There it is. So, ooh, that was a nice mortar. That's a nice opening to this engagement. Immediately suppressed by the bunker as well. Jeez, he almost lost his overs to a single grenade again. Fortunately, only one model drop, so not too much manpower bleed once he gets that back to base. Won't be too hard to get that field. And I was wrong. He's not going Katyusha. He goes SU-85, which ironically will be just what they need to take out this bunker and potentially also put some pressure on the half track. Bunker did a good job of keeping that push back, but it was a little late, and they had no counter to the SU-85 on the field at the time when it arrived. Actually, there is an AT gun right here, but it wasn't positioned anywhere where it could protect. And down goes the bunker. That mortar is screwed. I don't know how many times I've seen that mortar get cleared this game. I really need to try and position that a little more carefully. There's a lot of manpower being lost trying to keep that thing alive. SU-85 gets a big hit on the half track, but it does round the corner just in time. That squad of shocks will be forced to retreat soon. Sniper is being provided lots of vision in the meantime. Up to 24 kills. Nice harassment of the flanks by the Minesweeper Pios and the Volksgrenadiers, though. Again, the Soviets are just brute forcing everything straight down the middle without regard for territory. It's kind of costing them a little bit in map control, but they do seem to have all the fuel that they need for their call-ins, and munitions aren't that much of a concern when they've both gone shock troops. One squad of shocks wiped. Overs will retreat just in time. It's important to try and use those overs at medium range against shocks. If you can avoid using them at close range, that's ideal because they'll go down pretty quick. But at medium range, they'll take very little damage and still dish out quite a lot in return. Apparently that Jagdpanzer can't shoot through this stuff. There it goes. Satchel on the AT gun. Late attempt at dodging, but it does survive. Barely. The gun itself desperately needs repairs. Needs to be careful not to park too much stuff on that friendly teller mine as well. Lots of Soviet infantry working on getting the west territories back. The munitions, fuel, and victory points will fall back into their control. The center has a pretty weak defense right now, just a penal battalion and one Su-85. The sniper had to retreat. Up to Vet 3 on that sniper. It seems to be doing pretty okay. 17 minutes, 30 kills, so it's definitely been used effectively. Look at this, 4 shock troops. That is so much shock troops. The Allies really need to field some anti-shock troop stuff. The best stuff to use against shock troops is any form of suppression that cannot be killed with smoke very easily. MG42 is okay as long as you pay really close attention to it, but a Kuba wagon, flag, half-track, bunker, any vehicle or tank, you really need something. Infantry is clearly struggling. Oh my god. The carnage. A sniper will be a nice thing to have to keep manpower as well, but it won't shut down these pushes. Not single-handedly, anyway. Needs to keep kiting with those overs. What was that? Anti-infantry strafe. Anti-infantry strafe will definitely shut down this shock troop blobbing. I'm surprised he hasn't been using that this entire game. Can't, jeez. Yeah, I can't believe he hasn't been spamming that like crazy. It completely shut down this strategy. These grenades. There goes that AT gun. They've pretty much killed everything that they can. The Jagdpanzer actually crushes a couple of them. Those Volksgrenadiers out of there, oh my goodness. Nothing left except for Sturms and Oversoldaten for Wreathlit Noel. Gvardia has 1 squad of Grens left, making some fresh ones now in his Pios and his sniper. Just awful, awful engagement from the Axis. I'm not sure if the Allies really lost anything. Although the Su-85 does die to the Jagdpanzer, so that's something. Which is actually good, because that clears the way for the Panzer IV to get some work done now. There's an IS-2 on the field. ISU-152 will be soon to follow. He's got enough fuel in the bank to get a second one of these as well. Panzer IV and Jagdpanzer should be enough to stop that thing if they work together. Pretty good start. Wipes that combat engineer squad, bringing PotatoMan down to only 3 infantry squads right now, and he's about to drop 720 manpower on this assault gun, so he's not going to have a very effective infantry corps. Here comes the IS-2. Teller mines being planted, or no, S mines being planted. Also a pretty good counter to shock troops, by the way. Tetrachloride, titanium tetrachloride grenade to protect. While he tries to capture this point, we'll effectively screen that IS-2 away for now. Kind of expensive, but gets the job done. Victory point is now in Axis control. Minesweeper Pio is grabbing the left flank, with the right flank it's falling to some penal battalions right now. Lots of mines being planted by close air support. It's got plenty of fuel to convert into munitions. Lots of resources in the bank, so not a concern really. They're about to hold both while they're trading munitions points. There's going to be a small gap in their munitions while I continue to capture this, but they have a pretty strong presence on the map. I feel like this is an overcommitment of forces to kill one Minesweeper Pio. But okay, he will be able to flank pretty hard from the left side soon. ISU-152 moves up to support in the middle, starts firing on these ogres. Currently has high explosive rounds equipped, which means it's unlikely to do much damage to the ag, but it can probably stun it. I think that's so dumb, by the way, that it can just stun lock stuff even with high explosive rounds just constantly. I feel like that should only happen on armor piercing. I don't know. I don't like that. It still feels pretty effective versus all targets with high explosive rounds equipped, as long as it has any form of anti-tank support. The Jagdpanzer may go down here. Shots coming extremely close to bringing it down. IS-2 doesn't feel comfortable chasing into the Panzer IV and AT gun. I think he probably could have, though. He just needed one more shot. ISU falls pretty low to anti-tank gunfire right there, so needs to pull back for some repairs. Smoke grenade screens it from further harm. These infantry will take control of the center VP in the midst of that engagement. The 4 shock troop squads continue to roam around the left side looking for some kind of opportunity. We will need to flank behind this bunker. If they just went straight down this flank, they could probably inflict some pretty serious damage. I have to say, out of range of the tier 4 structure though. 3 kills on this thing so far on over squads, so not off to a hugely great start, but doing a little bit of bleed. Shock troops will immediately kill the sniper upon spotting him, and then immediately get suppressed by the bunker, which is going to open them up to getting crushed by these Jagdpanzers. This push might get shut down just by that machine gun bunker. All pinned and forced to retreat. Jagdpanzers pick up a couple kills, nothing too serious. Nice positioning on that bunker. They have to retreat through the S-mine field as well, damaging them but not inflicting all that much manpower bleed. Sniper moving up to shoot at various stuff. It will try and get the munitions point captured, which will give full munitions control to the allies for now, although they don't have this captured. Hi, Chimp Decan. Or Deccan. Anti-infantry strafe delays repairs on the ISU-152. And it can't expose itself for all that long to a double Jagdpanzer, especially with high explosive rounds equipped. Switches to armor piercing. Jagdpanzers are chasing, getting pretty aggressive with the Panzer IV to support. Oh, that crush! That Jagdpanzer just killed a full shock troop squad. Wow. Panzer IV going in deep. There's the AT strafe. Oh, get clear! Does a ton of damage to the IS-2 and damages its engine. There's a bunch of smoke on the ISU-152. Try and protect. Panzer IV is going to try and circle, strafe it to death. Bounce. IS-2 moving to re-engage. Can't quite get in there. Panzer IV continues to chase. Second bounce. He's trying to circle strafe it. Barely gets clear. ISU is now going to be very exposed. Shot bounces on its rear armor again. Only those Jagdpanzers would move to assist. They could kill both of these priority targets. Second IS-2 gets fielded and the ISU-152 will survive. Whoa. What is this language, PotatoMan? Oh, Wreathlit, Noel, why didn't you help? That was a one engagement if those two Jagdpanzers moved into assist. Those were both of those such easy targets. Now they're gonna get fully repaired. The Allies have been at least temporarily pushed off the map, so that's something. A couple squads need to move to take control of the north while it's undefended. The right side is protected by a lot of shock troops. Currently.
Supply sector under attack. Ready for your orders. IS-2 heavy tanks are now available to crush the enemy. AP mines down.
Oh, thank you, Arrow Hank, for that educational lesson. I'm sure that's probably what he was talking about. Satchel charge on those stern piles convinces him to retreat. He probably could have dodged that and killed that sniper. Just retreated to be safe, though. Currently working on getting the left side under control. Shock troops on the right will be forced away by flame projectors. There's not very many units in the game that flame projectors counter, but shock troops is one of them. One of the very few units that flame projectors are useful against. So that's kind of fun. How much is that upgrade? 120. Wow, that is ridiculous. That is truly a close air support ability. Only way you actually have the munitions to be able to afford that thing, in addition to everything else that you need. Obersoldaten will get forced away here in the center. They don't have that one, so they can't use their super duper gas grenade. Make it away with one man remaining. Grenadiers taking control of the right side. Victory point.
Back up to full force. Taking enemy fire. Combat unit ready.
ISU has been fully repaired, makes its way back to the front lines. Here's the second ISU making its way to assist as well. So far this ISU has barely done anything. It's only got 4 kills. Jagdpanzers are doing a great job of keeping that thing pushed back. And he can't seem to make up his mind whether he wants to use armor piercing or high explosive. Once he has 2 on the field, he might have a little more success in focus firing things down with a certain shell type equipped. Either that or he'll just leave 1 on high explosive and 1 on armor piercing, which I've seen people do occasionally. They just have dedicated roles. Obersoldaten retreating away from this shock blob. It's pretty scary. Hopefully that push isn't going to get shut down by 1 machine gun bunker this time. Obersoldaten moving to take back control of the center VP. The victory points are very much in favor of the Allies right now, but the Axis currently have the lead for map control. It's going to take some time for the Allies to get all this territory back. The terrain on this map does not seem to favor those ISUs at all. Something about the hills and stuff seems to make it difficult for them to hit anything. That one's falling pretty low. Might want to be careful. 2 AT guns and a Jagdpanzer firing at it. We'll have to pull back to safety. Bomb runs coming in on everything. No real attempt at dodging, and we'll destroy that AT gun. Incendiary artillery dropped on the Jagdpanzer doesn't do all that much. ISU-152 shot will decrew the second AT gun though, so both AT guns have been destroyed, basically. And And this flanking force of infantry is getting nailed. Full squad just got wiped. Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks on the flanks trying to set something up against those ISUs, and they will be forced to reposition. Jagdpanzers won't be able to really chase those things down with 2 IS-2s making their way up the left side. Needs to try and start focus firing those down. Panzer Shrek volley on this one comes very close. If he could finish that off with an anti-tank strafe, could go down. He doesn't currently have the munitions though. He could redistribute. He's got 270 fuel. Looks like this flank has been pretty much shut down. And there he goes. Both squads will be forced to retreat. Look at all these overs trying to counter the shock blob with an even more impressive over blob. And he should be successful. This should beat a shock troop blob as long as he micros better. Come down to grenade tosses. He also needs to not explode to ISU 152 fire. Incendiary artillery coming down on those overs. He really needs to soft retreat back to this half track more. Every time he hard retreats like that, it completely just pushes him off the field. He can't get any territory back, which is pretty much why they're 200 VPs behind right now. Fortunately, the machine gun bunker suppresses all of those shock troops again, because they just walked right into it for a second time. Getting pretty good value out of that machine gun bunker for 30 minutes into the game. There's tier 4 from close air support. It's got 275 fuel, so Panther. And tier 3, in fact. They've had a lot of fuel this game. And munitions. Could have had a Panther a while ago, but he's been spending a lot of manpower on his infantry blobs. His close air support, infantry blobs, and AT guns. Set him back a little bit, but he's getting a Panther now. In conjunction with 2 Jagdpanzers, he should be able to make something happen against that ISU 152. He should probably succeed, whereas Panzer IV failed. Nice split with those overs to dodge the grenade and continue to engage at medium range. Perfect engagement for those overs. That's exactly what you want to do against shock troops. That wasn't good though. That wasn't good either. Was that an armor-piercing round? Oh no, that was an IS-2 shot. 2 squads of overs just got evaporated instantly in one shot. Incendiary artillery forces the other 2 to retreat. Putting a pretty nasty dent in Wreathlit Noel's forces to spend the rest of his manpower on reinforcement costs. No! Flamethrower just detonated. And he's walking into the fire.
Panther command tanks have reached the front. Deploy as needed. Send orders!
Command Panther for Wreathlit Noel. Interesting. That supporting 2 Jagdpanzers should definitely help. With vision, right?
Prepare for action!
Movement speed and sight improved. Yeah, having more vision on those Jagdpanzers is definitely going to be nice. There's the Panther from Gvardia as well. 2 Panthers, 2 Jagdpanzers against 2 IS-2s, 2 ISU 152s. Basically comes down to flanking. If they slug it out at range, they'll probably lose, and if they flank, they'll probably win. Panzer Shrek's available to support on the right flank as well. This blob is about to encounter 2 squads of overs and will probably beat them. Panzers, oops, firing at range. This ISU falling pretty low. Wow. They both have armor-piercing rounds equipped, but they're just bouncing somehow. This engagement will go to those shocks, I think. Yeah. Shocks do have suppression. Doesn't look like it's AoE suppression or anything. That grenade was off target. If he had thrown a gas grenade right in front of himself, maybe he could have tried to figure something out from there. Either way, all shock troops are going to retreat after accomplishing not much. Obersoldaten will retreat after suffering only minor losses. ISU continues to try and slug it out against these Jagdpanzers. Wow, that Command Panther though, falling dangerously low. Needs to be careful with that thing. Not a whole lot of repair potential for Wreathlit Noel, who has only 1 Stern Pio squad and 3 tanks to repair, and no Mechanized Regiment HQ. I mean, with the support upgrade in Vet 3, they repair super fast, but it's still just 1 squad. He has a lot of vehicles he needs to get repaired. Might consider a second one.
We have a tank, veteran, see?
Anti-infantry strafe pins down those shock troops. IS-2s are circling around the building to support. Bundle grenade. Counter grenade. Nothing really hits anything. The whole blob retreats once it sees those IS-2s. The Jagdpanzers move up to engage the ISUs from range. They're slowly vetting up. They're getting pretty strong. Oh man, and there's the long range snipe that he's been waiting for. Careful with this thing though, don't lose that. There's no good reason to lose this Jagdpanzer. Wow! Holy crap, it had like half health and it died. Alright, never mind, I guess. That was a pretty good play. Thought that Jagdpanzer was gonna go down for sure. Man, Vet 4 and Vet 3, these things are gonna annihilate any armor that gets in front of them now. There's engine damage, and Panther flanking from behind. Phases though, rather than blocking, unfortunately. He's gonna have to circle around again. Second Panther's available here to assist in this engagement. Those IS-2s should really disengage and wait for his teammate to provide some support, because there's 2 Jagdpanzers over here that can help in this engagement. Fortunately, they're not moving. They definitely should be. At least the Command Panther should get in there and provide its bonus. Apparently it's close enough to give the bonus in its current position. Everything's pulling back slowly. Panthers are working on those IS-2s from range. If they fall down low enough, those Panthers will be able to chase and aggressively hunt and kill those things. You need to maintain at least half of their health. Flame projectors are going to push away the shock troops here in the center. Shock troops heading right will get that victory point under control, while Obersoldaten take control of the left. The Axis have only 130 victory points remaining. ISU nails the half track, so that's got to pull back to a more safe location. The Panzerschrecks are back to engage. The Jagdpanzers are about to be fully repaired. And I don't think that ISU 152 stands much of a chance solo.
ISU 152 tanks are now available to wreak havoc on enemy fortifications. Fuck! Grenade!
Gas grenade will force those shock troops to, well, lose the engagement if they walk straight into it. There they go. Vet 5 Obers will be able to hold the line against anything other than a pretty committed push here to the left side. 3 squads of shocks will win, as long as they don't blob into a gas grenade. But it looks like he's not going to hold. Yes, he is. He should probably jump in green cover, not yellow. He doesn't want to lose that full squad to a grenade because he's not paying attention. Center is still in Axis control. Right side changing hands. Threw a gas grenade on a lone squad. 2 squads moving around his flank will seal the engagement.
Prepare for action.
Vet 5 Sturms and Vet 3 Obers should win the engagement for the left, especially since these squads are split up. Could come down to grenades, but I'm pretty sure he's going to win this. The Jagdpanzers and Panthers are making their way towards the center. Maybe try and cut off this thing or one of these if they overextend. Currently the Axis just have way too much armor Long-range grenade toss. He will dodge, though. One squad of shocks wiped. He hasn't even really taken damage yet. If he suppresses either of these squads, doesn't matter. Engagement's won easily. He doesn't even take any damage. Overs will move to take control of the VP, and Stern's moving to get the fuel. The right side victory point will get taken by the Axis, so at about 100 victory points they will end their triple cap and start things ticking in their favor again. In fact, they will have the triple cap if these Pios would stand in the capture circle. IS-2s are going to move to try and work the left flank. Jagdpanzers move up pretty aggressively to keep that ISU 152 away. Get some shots on the rear of that IS-2 over there as well. Panzer 4 on the field after 2 Panthers. Interesting choice. Guess it didn't have the pop cap for a Panther. I don't know. Maybe he wanted something a little bit more mobile. Now that they've spotted the 2 IS-2s, 3 IS-2s actually, over here on the left, Panthers are going to seize the opportunity to take out this completely unsupported ISU 152, and you can't field another one anytime soon. Anti-tank strafe, no, anti-infantry strafe coming in on these things. They have to think carefully about what they're doing. The IS-2s have moved to support in this engagement. The Jagdpanzers are repositioning so that they can fire on this. Coordinated fire from the command Panther on the IS-2 in the front. It should go down pretty quick. A lot of shots bouncing. I'm gonna try and circle. Oh no, the Panzerschreck blob is available for this engagement too. Vet 5 on that Jagdpanzer. This IS-2 is not mobile enough to circle strafe these things. Not even close. And now its rear armor is exposed. This Jagdpanzer will try and get to safety. Briefly cruise shock. That just got abandoned. This Jagdpanzer's falling pretty low. Jagdpanzers need to find a way to continue firing on these tanks during this engagement. Panther on the left flank working on what vehicles it can. Panther's Vet 2 needs to pull back to safety. It's falling a little bit low. But this IS-2 is charging with its rear armor and goes down so quick. Panzerschrecks are still available for this engagement. Bomb run, I think. No, incendiary. Being dropped on these Panzer Grenadiers. Apparently this game is gardened.
Stuka strafe run available. The bunker has been improved with an MG-42.
And the engagement does go to the Axis, who suffer basically no losses. The Allies completely failed to focus fire any priority targets down, exposed their tanks to a huge amount of anti-tank fire, both tank-based and infantry-based. Shock troops did not move to support in the engagement at all. And the Axis actually have a pretty tremendous amount of float.
Ready for further orders.
Gvardia could throw out some more Grenadiers. Or just more Pios even. Or caches. Wreathlit Noel could make anything. Although he's actually pretty close to being pop capped in all fairness. I would get another Stern Pio squad if I were him though. These 2 Panzer Grenadier squads retreating back to base. Grenadiers engaging some combat engineers. Shock troops making their way over to the right side as well. They'll get screened away by the Panzer IV easily. Obersoldaten getting the victory point. We'll start the clock ticking against the Allies once again. And machine gun bunkers over here too, just to be safe. Half-track died to the abandoned IS-2, abandoned and freshly recovered.
We have 200 points remaining.
Retreat? What are they doing? He's just letting his shock troops die. Too busy microwaving this IS-2, I guess. Man, that Jagdpanzer's rate of fire and damage is just huge. And vision. how far I can see. And there goes the IS-2. It has it has normal damage except for when it's camoed. I don't know what vet it gets the damage bonus while camoed. Vet 5, I guess. Yeah. Does like a ton of damage. I don't know how much extra damage it gets, but it's pretty insane. Well, there it is. GG. This game pretty much came down to just better micro, and honestly, the only thing the Soviets ever did with their infantry was box select A move, so they didn't have that much map control. Gave the Axis a lot of resources, especially close air support. Giving them full control of the map is never good. Giving anybody full control of the map is not good. They just brute forced their way down the center multiple times. Honestly, I'm surprised they were as successful as they were. The Axis didn't do a very good job of managing that and lost a lot of stuff, but in the end it didn't really matter because in the late game they just couldn't win against Panthers and Jagdpanzers using only ISUs and IS-2s. No tier 2 from either of these Soviet players left them with a pretty weak anti-tank, infantry-based anti-tank presence, so GG, Axis wins.